don't know if all of you have been excited about today. I have been very excited about today, and I'm so glad all of you joined us. Today's not going to be a normal visit with our Metatron-Nilesh. Today's a very exciting announcement day that Nilesh is going to make. For those of you who don't know Nilesh, I'm going to let him tell his story briefly, I hope, because I think there's a lot of new people here. But my name is Deb, this is my husband Rick, and we're from Heal, Teach, Love. And we are healers, but today is not going to be a day of healing. It's not going to be a day of any type of normal webinar with us. It's a day of discovery, I guess you'd call it, and it's exciting. Nilesh is going to introduce his sisters, and I'm very excited. It's going to be very powerful. It's going to be very loving energy day. So I'm going to introduce Nilesh Mistry, Archangel Metatron, and I want him to tell his story. Nilesh?
Said hi, everyone.
Did you forget to unmute?
Yeah, I did. Many of you already know the story about me, but I'll be really quick and brief. Like, my journey started some time ago, about 8 years ago is when I started to fully really come into my awareness and being. I did a session with Alba, very reluctant to go, but I did it, and I discovered there's a very small, minute, microscopic fractal of Metatron in my soul, and it was placed there to help me and to help humanity really on this kind of journey right now, and that's kind of why I'm here really. You know, there are many aspects of us, but that is an aspect of me that's required here on planet Earth, right here, right now, in this particular time. And I've struggled with it like everyone else, you know, struggled to accept it, struggled to kind of allow it, absorb it, be a part of it. It's been a very kind of up and down journey, which it is for every single human on the planet, regardless of whether you're, you know, angelic in nature or ascended master in nature or galactic. It doesn't matter about your origins. I suspect each and every one of you is every single one of those and more. But we are here because we chose to be here, and we are here because humanity is going through some pretty epic, awesome kind of times right now. There's an awakening happening, and there's so many that are kind of waking up out of their slumber right now, and that's just kind of why we came. So some of my oranges is from the angelic side, so it's from the House of Heaven, not in the way that you know the Bible. In fact, much of the Bible isn't kind of how I see it and how I know it and how I remember it. It's different for me, but I'm sure it's different for every single one of you too. You know, we all come from our own unique vibrations and frequency. So I've been on my journey, and as I'm going along, I've connected with quite a lot, many kind of souls, and your higher guides are really good at giving you like little breadcrumbs of, you know, knowledge and wisdom. They never give you you know, too much too soon, or they never give you too much all in one go, because it's very difficult for our brains to kind of assimilate it. So as I've been going forward in my journey, there's much I've discovered. There's a lot of things that I know that I shouldn't know, which I've shared a lot on, you know, this channel, you know, with Deb and others as well. And some of it's important and some of it's really not. And I'm sure many of you can identify and relate to that. So I've discovered that the vibration of Metatron is very high. And many of you will be aware of this because many of you have had contact with Metatron, whether that's talking to me in physicality, in the 3D, which is why we're here, but also maybe more importantly, through your meditations, through your awareness, through your expansion of your own soul and the awareness of how enormous that is. And I know many of you have had him arrive in meditations and just kind of at like very unusual moments. Some of you have known who he is straight from the off. There are others who have taken time to get to know his energy, but I know he has connected with many. So there's a lot of stuff going around about the actual the words, the human words that we use. Every human word has vibration behind it, and so what I mean by that is there's been stuff that I've been watching that's, especially to do with metaverse, that this word meta is like quite, from the Hebrew side, can be quite seen in a negative manner, and many other places in a negative manner. So I don't want you to see that like that. Like Metatron is the name. So let me kind of like help you guys a little bit, So my understanding and awareness of meta means in all. Yeah, so that's what meta means, in all, okay. And then tron means that I am. So if you put those two together, Metatron, it is in all that I am. And that is each and every one of you. Okay, that's what the name means. So when we talk about metaverse, so meta again is in all, and verse is that I see. So that's what metaverse means, in all that I see. Yeah, in all that I see, not this but this. Yeah, so I want you to be really clear about the meanings of words. They're not what you've been told. Don't go by old text, please. Put that to one side. This is what it means. Metatron means in all that I am, which is you. If you say that to yourself, in all that I am, that's what it is. That's what it means. And I want people to be really clear about that. That is something that's just come to me very recently as the metaverse is being, created. And I don't want people are hijacking our words. Yeah, they're hijacking the meaning behind it. And I want it to be very clear what that means. Okay, so that's number one. And number two is that Metatron has family, just like each and every one of you. And each one of these family members is very dear to my heart. I love them so much. They mean so much to me. It actually gives me so much comfort and so much joy to know that they are here, and to know that they are on the human plane with me, with us together. And the sharing of this today is really important, because the combination between all of us together is very, very powerful because of who we are. Not just the soul that we are, but the vibration and the frequency we share. Many of you know Metatron's frequency is really high. So the sisters that I'm going to introduce you to today is also the same. And each and every one of you are going to feel a connection and wanting to reach out to them, or wanting to share your vibration. You might have had many experiences with them in your previous lives, whether it's here on planet Earth or anywhere else in this wonderful universe or universes. So I am gonna, do you want me to introduce them, Deb? Shall I introduce you guys?
That's what, yes, that was my next. Start with the first.
Okay, Melanie. So the first one is Melanie. Melanie is one of my sisters. So I'm going to hand you over to Melanie, and I want you to feel her vibration and feel your connection with her. And all of us being on this call today, you're going to feel like pretty goddamn like amped up. So I'm just warning all of you right now that, if you're struggling with anything particular, or if something's like you've been, not been happening for you, that's going to be unblocked. You're going to kind of like really be free flowing today. The energies between all of us that sharing is going to be really high. You're going to feel really hot. Yeah, that many of you are feeling really warm right now. Hot, yeah. Want to take a few layers off, yeah, because that's how I feel right now. So you're going to be feeling that too. So yes, without further ado, Melanie is one of Metatron's sisters. Now,
hi guys. Just basically how it started. I had no clue, not a clue. I knew that Metatron was a guide a long time ago. Didn't really have a lot to do with him, just knew that he was there. And then I was trying to get a regression with Alba, which is, if anybody has tried to do this,
it's impossible.
It's difficult. Yeah, it's difficult.
Unless you're meant to have one.
Exactly. So I was in Cyprus at the time, and I knew that she was coming to the UK, and even if it meant me coming over to the UK, that's what I was going to do. Anyway, it didn't happen. I didn't get it. So obviously the UK sessions came online, and one of them was Metatron. And I've always had this pull for Metatron anyway, no matter where it is. So I was drawn to that, had to listen to that. So watched the session with Nilesh, thought, right, okay, that's really good, that's really interesting. And then again, didn't do anything. And then it was this nagging in my head. It's like, get in touch. And then after probably, I would say about a year of seeing that with Alba, I managed to message Nilesh. And we were talking on Messenger, and then I just said one day, I said, maybe we just we should do face-to-face and just chat. But during all of this period, lots had been happening where I was concerned, messages that were coming through, all of the speaking the light language, the writing of light language. Mm-hmm. And I'd had messages that I hadn't told to anybody because they seemed pretty outrageous.
Yeah.
And you don't really go shouting the things that I was getting through, even though I questioned it from my guides. And when I originally spoke with Nilesh, I don't know why I suddenly came out with this, and I said to him, these are some of the messages that I've had, and it was like, I am of the highest order, which again, like, you don't tell anybody because it seems so egoic.
Yeah.
And it was, I am one of 4.
Yeah.
And I literally said, I am one of 4, and they said yes. And then I wrote that down, and I questioned them again. I said, I am one of 4. Yes. Right. Okay. So anyway, in the course of the conversation with Nilesh, I said, I am one of 4. Nilesh nearly fell off his chair.
Yeah.
Because he just looked at me, and you can tell the rest of the story.
Well, you shouldn't really know that information. And the only way that information is known to you is if you already are from the place that we are from. And so it was very shocking because like I say, I've been given information that you can't find on Google, you're never going to find in a book, yeah? And unless you're of a particular frequency, that's why I think the information is there and what I know. And I don't know why I know it right now, and it's not really important. But the fact that you knew it was a little bit like, okay, this is like, wow, okay. Like, because the thing about being, specific vibrations is that it can be very lonely, being this vibration. So yeah, I was very shocked. And then I was like, how do you know this information?
And you'd only literally been given that information a week before.
Yeah,
hadn't
that's
you?
correct. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you shouldn't. Yeah, it was going through. I still am, but it was going through like a really expansive time at the time, and coming into a lot of things. I wasn't really looking for it. That was the thing. I wasn't looking for the information, and so when it kind of arrived, I was like, "Oh, okay," and then it just happened so quickly. But one of the other things that we're aware of is that we all come together at the end. Remember me telling you this? Yeah, we all come together at the end. So this is why we're all being in touch right now, and you're getting in touch with your brothers and your sisters and your soul family, and this is why it's happening. So go on, Mel, continue the story.
Well, then it was to find, once we knew this, obviously there was another two to find.
Yeah.
And that wasn't down to me. That was down to brother. That was down to Nilesh. He was there to find the rest of them.
Yeah.
And it was quite spread out, really, wasn't it? It was a good few months till the next one, and then our last sister, she took her time.
She did take her time. Yeah, she did. But that's okay. That's all right, because you guys are right. They are spread out, and they need to be, because the vibration is very high, and it needs to be exactly where it needs to be. And the common factor between all of you is me. And as we went forward in time, this was our contract. This was our agreement, that it would be me that is revealed kind of, to the world first, and we joke about this, don't we? It's like we joke about it between us, like, it's all right, we'll just push Nilesh out there, because if they start to attack him and he starts to get attacked by darkness and all of that, we can still stay in the shadows and it'll all be fine, but we'll just kick him out there. He can be the guinea pig, it's all right. And that's exactly kind of how it was, isn't it? It was like that kind of, but I always knew that no matter how you all three of you felt about it, you were going to have to come out, because there was no way that I was going to do this, on my own, knowing that you guys were here, because again, we are so loving, we are so giving, we are so open-hearted and kind. We wouldn't have come all this way just to hide in the shadows. This is not the way we are. That's not how we roll. We've never done that. We've never done that. And so it's really important that we are here and share, and whether we're ridiculed or whether people don't believe us, it doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. We are the vibrations we are. We don't need the approval of others, never have done. We are who we are, and we own it. So yeah. Go on then, continue.
It's your turn now to introduce the next one.
I don't know, you missed out one important factor. What happened about a month ago?
It was that's more than a month ago.
Was it? It feels like a month ago.
I know. You mean the fact of what we did together?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. That's more than a month ago. We obviously, like, during this period of time, it's taken a lot to come to terms with, and going through shifting energy and getting where I am at the moment. Everybody goes through dark nights of the soul, obviously. So I went through my fair share in during this time. And one time I got together with Nilesh, and it was like, right, come on, we need to do something. I need to, like, I don't know what I need to do, but I need to do something. And we got together, and as you know, with Nilesh, we do the heart connection thing. And I saw my physical parents in front of me, and there was one on one side, one on the other, and there was me stood in the middle, and I was roughly 4 or 5 years of age, and I'm stood there, and I said to Nilesh, I'm stuck, I can't go any further. And suddenly that was it, and I went straight up and had this connection and had this huge realization that I was placed here, but I didn't say placed here, because at the time I was in complete and utter crying, tears, total mess, shouting at Nilesh, saying that they left me. They left me here. They left me.
Yeah.
Completely and utterly gone. Yeah. Crying my eyes out that they left me. And that was the biggest realization, or one, I would say, out of some of them that I've had, that I was placed here now, I can say, at roughly about 4 to 5 years of age. So I am actually a walk-in. And many people over the years had said that, But obviously, with not having experienced it, I don't go there. I have to experience it first. But everything fell into place once that happened, because when I was young, I always said to my mother, I was convinced I was adopted. I was so convinced I was adopted, and she tried to talk me out of it, and it was so strong. And there were so many things over the years, but when that happened, it just totally made sense. I just knew once that happened, and I realized that I was placed here, everything fell into place. So that was quite an experience, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it's also really the reason why it's important to share that is because I want people to know that, look, the family you were born into, the biological family, might not necessarily be your soul family. And as we go forward in time, as you're discovering that maybe they're not, yeah? And so there are others around you that you're connected to that are your family. And we have these unique abilities, and it's directly to do with the connection that we hold for one another, that we have for one another with our family members. And so what I'm saying to you is that if there's something that you've been struggling with, or something that you don't understand, or something that you're trying to, become clearer with, then like your family are here to help you. They have the key to unlock various parts of your vibration. You're both from the same vibration, so it's really important that you do find your soul family. It's really important that you reach out to them and ask them, like, don't be afraid to do that and say, hey, I'm struggling with this, or I get family members asking me, saying I need some healing today, yeah, so I just stop whatever I'm doing. Healing doesn't have to be on a Reiki table. You don't have to practice Reiki. If you do, that's cool, and that's just one kind of avenue to go down. But I generally tend to hold people's hands, and I'll stand or sit in front of them, and I just whack them with a shit ton of Father's energy, that comes through me, through them. And it does many things, really. It reminds them of the energy of the House of Heaven, which is so important because I think so many have forgotten, but it also does exactly what it needs to do. And we can do this with one another. We can do this. And I want what's happening here today to help you to understand that you should be doing this with your family member. If you have biological brothers and sisters and you are struggling with any difficulty in your human experience, many of you won't think twice about picking up the phone and contacting them and say, hey, I really need to talk to you, or hey, I'm struggling with this, or hey, I need help with this. And this is the same thing I want you to transfer to your soul family. I want you to do this as well. It's so important. So I'm really glad you shared, Mel. And also, we got to meet in person as well, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
Yeah, and that was really nice. And the crazy thing about it was, it's just like brother and sister. They're the same, it's the same. Felt the same. The energy felt the same. It was really cool. It was really nice to do that, wasn't it? Because we're so, apart as well. It's so nice to be able to do that. That was really cool. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, it was great.
Okay, so the next one is Ines, I believe. Is that
yes,
right?
That is correct.
Yeah. So before we move on to Ines, I just wanted to say that each and every one of us have got specifically unique gifts. Okay, so Mel's gift is really, she's so knowledgeable with so much stuff, and her light language is so different as well from each and every one of us, and her perceptions of the way that she kind of see things. So she's like a book. She knows like an encyclopedia. She kind of knows so much, and the ability to shift energy as well is so each and every one of us have been brought in. That's not to say that it's limited to that, because it's not, but it's definitely important that we all have these unique gifts, and some are just a little bit more kind of stronger than each other. So that's Mel. The next one is Ines.
She's the organizer too. She's the taskmaster.
Yeah, she is. That's correct. Yes. So Ines is, is one of the other sisters. Can you hear me, Ines?
Hello to all, sweethearts.
There we
Hello.
are.
Much love and appreciation for your existence to all of you. What I can say, first, I'm from Slovenia, so my English is not perfect. Even if I am a creator being with a human experience, I still learn English, still learn things. So just to let things be clear.
I still tell you, your English is beautiful.
Yeah,
Thank
I
you.
agree.
Thank you very much. Yeah, but sometimes for the expression, how I am going deeply into things, it's like I want more words, more expressions, even if the more important thing is the vibration and the heart and the joy that comes out, energy.
Well, don't ask me, because I tend to give you cursey words.
Yeah. What I wanted to say is, yeah, I have very good connection with my guides. And in 2020, they told me to reach out to connect with the soul family. And I was like, how? Yeah, use your app, use internet. And really, I started to connect with people. I was more brave because before I was very shy and lonely. I was being in my shell and I didn't want to go out so much. But then I just said, okay, I will open my heart and I will research for the new souls. And really happens a lot. Happened that I meet someone who I told my story, and this one saw you, Nilesh, and he told me, you need to connect with this guy because you have a very similar story. And I said, okay, I will check it. And I went to check Deb and Rick, and you had a healing session with them. And I was like watching, and you were like being like, I was triggered by you in the beginning. I was like, no, because you have such a powerful energy of pushing people into the potential that they have. And I knew that, I felt that if we will meet, I will need to go on, not to be shy like a bird somewhere in the nest. So then I just connected with you. I just connected through Facebook. You said yes. And then I asked you if we can have a talk. And then we started a talk and I was like, blah, 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 blah. And you just started to ask me questions, connected heart to heart. And then you said, you are one of the sisters. And I was like, what, who, when, why? I was like, okay, a little bit shocked. It was really triggering for me. But then I felt such a love for you, Nilesh. Like my brother that I never had. It's like that you are knowing me everything, that I can express everything, every single thought, every single emotion I can express to you. And you are like, yes, my sister, I understand you. It's just, yeah. And then when I met Melanie, oh my God, was like also the connection. We started to talk light language between each other and was like, powerful, very powerful, like. So that's how I found my family more, and also I communicate with a lot of different people from all around the world. And I feel blessed because anytime I feel a little bit down, the frequency is down, or what I'm triggered by the system, or is happening something in my life, I can reach to someone, and these someones can reach to me. And I see the treasure in this behavior, that we are just being brave enough to give our insecurity out, to give our power and sovereignty out, whatever we are. And that's why I feel very happy. What can I say? And now I was very excited. I was thinking, I'm so excited, I just can't hide. Yeah, I was thinking it in my head. So that's the story how we met in 2020, and now we are like connecting ahead.
Correct. So as Ines says, Ines is like, I love Ines's like perception of how she views the world, and it's very unique. I love it so much because of the way that she says it, the way she expresses it. Even her voice is very soothing to me, and I'll explain in a reason why that is. But I love the way that she perceives things. It's like Ines is very grateful for everything, and I don't mean like the things that people consider important, like humans do, like money, status and power. Like, I love the way Ines like interacts with this human world. She explain when that thing when you like talking to like things like the wall, and you're grateful for the washing machine to be able to wash your clothes. Explain this, because I can't explain it. I can feel it from you, but I can't explain it the way you do. So explain it.
Yeah, in my process of growing and remembering about the love, my guides and my higher self told me, Ines, just be love. And what I was questioning, what love does mean? Love is everything and everyone. You can love, everything is created by this energy. And I said, okay, also my washing machine and my walls and my fireplace, everything that is around me. And yes, and then I started to appreciate those things very much more. And I started to also, maybe it's funny, but to touch them, to say thank you, to give a kiss to the wall, to put a music on and have fun with it. And I also close my eyes. Usually I close my eyes, I connect with the music when I listen to with my earphones, which I very much adore, earphones, to the music in my head. And then I just see the net of light that is going everywhere. And that I am the being who is emanating, who is giving out energy into this net. And I can choose to give this energy out of this net very strongly and powerful in gratefulness and joy and happiness and appreciation of things that already exist. You know, that's how I see. Also, I speak light language, and I use my light language for healing myself, for healing the animals if they need. I speak with them. I have one rabbit and one cat, and I have a daughter. So I speak with them light language also sometimes when I feel so powerful with this. And with trees, I just, because in the city, I didn't felt very comfortable to just hug a tree. But I felt them to call me like, Ines, hello, how are you doing today? But I was like, okay, if I can, I am not able in the city because I don't want to be like watched what she's doing, you know, so much yet. Yeah. But I learned to cuddle them with energy. With my hair, I was imagining my energy goes floating like to them and sharing energy with trees around me. And it's just unbelievably beautiful. Also, one day I walked to the work, and I started to cry because I felt my heart chakra so open for humans who were walking past by me. And I was like, why we are not creating the world where I can hug everyone? You know, when I can say, can I hug you, please? Just a beautiful hug, and then we go to work or whatever we have to do. And I was like feeling to have such a big heart, and I cannot touch and give this with touching. But I learned to do this with energy. If I am not capable to do this with my hands and to hug and to speak, I will do this with energy, with my thought processes and emotions. So yeah, that I will not be long. I just wanted to say that yes, love is all and all is love, and I am in love with love. That's me. That's me.
I love that. I love that so much. I love that because to me, when you express it and when you show it, that's 5D to me. Everything you're doing, the way that you express it and you show appreciation for the love, the gratitude for the walls being there, the washing machine, your food, people walking past you, you know, all of that. It's like so amazing. I love that about you. That's like, to me, it's like the purity of love that you have. That's what I am so in awe of. I love that. It's amazing. So like I was saying, like each and every one of the sisters have got some pretty epic gifts, and as you're seeing and being displayed, you know, via this video, you can see exactly what I mean by that. So the other thing I think the world needs to know is that when you connect with your soul family, yeah, you will have memory. Okay, so you will have memory of what has happened between you two. So one of the memories that happened with me and Ines was I love this memory. It was my favorite memory. Is that Ines used to sing nursery rhymes to me, like when not as in the human thing. Okay, so not as in the human body or anything like that, but when I was created as a very young light, the sisters that are being introduced today used to nurture me. They used to look after me, not as in like some helpless child that needs to learn how to walk or anything like that. It was nothing about that. It was to do with the love that we share with one another. So one of my memories that I have is Ines used to sing me nursery rhymes, and every time Ines talks to me in light language, or when we connect, it like touches the very heart and the soul of me. I remember this. I remember her singing me nursery rhymes, and it makes me want to cry every time. And this happens when you start to get in touch with your soul family. Those memories can only be unlocked when you are sharing that frequency, when you're sharing that vibration. And I love that. I love the fact that I remember that. One of the other things that you need to know is that all of the sisters were created before I was. And I know this. That's a fact to me. Yeah. So that's why I spent a lot of time with my sisters, because they spent time nurturing my vibration and nurturing my frequency, helping me to become more than I already was. So I think it's really important that you guys know that too. Is that fair to say, Nance?
Yes. Yeah. Yes, it is. It is, my love. I had also memories with you and Metatron when I was in the non-universe, hanging out and creating, and you will just pull me into the universe and saying, "Come on, girl, you need to do your job. You need to do what is need to be done in the universe." Yes.
Yes, correct. I mean, one of the bigger factors is that I've talked about this before, where I see creation in two types. So you're either creating outside in or inside out. And so the sisters have been really, really good with creating outside in. And this experience is definitely inside out, and it's so different. And so, yeah, that's right. We have this contract where we're very nurturing towards one another in regards to our own human experiences, but also the nurturing of our vibration and our spirituality and our connection to one another. We're very nurturing of that. You know, it is like having, you know, a biological, you know, sister or a brother, where you really want to look after them. You want to make sure no harm comes to them. You want to make sure that if they're feeling any distress or pain, you want to help them with that. You don't want to take away from their experience, because you want them to be strong and be kind of certain and in their experience, knowing that they are incredible and that they can deal with it. You don't really need your help, but everyone needs, like, you know, someone to talk to, someone to kind of share the experiences, and someone to say, hey, you know what, you guys are doing amazing. You might not think you are, but you are. And that's part of the role of, you know, each and every one of us in the family. So I think also it's really important that when you connect with your soul family, that memories will unlock for you. And they are pretty, there's nothing like it. There's nothing like it. It really does touch the very heart of who you are. So I encourage you to, you know, find them, or, you know, put the intention out there, at least for them to kind of find you, or vice versa, whichever way it is. So thank you, Ines. That's brilliant.
I love you.
Love you too, sister. Love you too. And so the third sister is already out there in regards to, you know, being very kind of on her spiritual path, on her mission, and still very, very wise, even wiser than Meti, I feel, in so many ways. And again, it's the same thing, you know, is the connection, but it isn't just about the connection we have as a family. It's also, because I've said this before, is your words are vibration, and so is your voice is vibration. And so when I connect with the sisters, it's like it really does touch the very heart and soul of who I am. It's almost like a bit of a sing-song, you know, singing like beautiful words into your heart and making you feel like everything's going to be okay. And this is the connection that soul families have. And so I urge you, each and every one of you, to make your connections, find them, you know, put the intention out there. So the next sister is Aura. So Aura, are you there?
Yes. Hi everyone. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you all so much. Love and respect you. And my heart is just beating. I'm overwhelmed. First I started sweating, now I'm super cold. I don't know. But I'm so grateful to be here. And it's so funny because it's something that I said, I'm never going to talk about this. I'm never going to tell this to anyone. This remains a secret. I take it to the grave. So, yeah. But how we met and how this all happened. It was a few years back when I started to consciously channel, and I was getting a lot of crazy information, which I just couldn't believe was true. I was having a really, really hard time believing it. I thought I was making it all up. Just like Melanie also said, it was outrageous and it just made no sense to me. I was Googling it. I was trying to find people that were speaking about the information that I was getting, and I couldn't find it anywhere. And so I just said, okay, I'm crazy. I'm not going to talk about this to anybody ever. I'm not going to say anything. And I just kept it to myself. But then I saw Nilesh's sessions with Alba. And immediately I felt this connection. I said, oh my God, he knows, and he feels, and he is, and I know this, and we know this. And I just had this immediate knowing that we know, so to say.
Yeah.
But I didn't take it as a confirmation. I just left it there, and I thought it's cool that there's someone else out there that has this kind of energy and knowledge. And I'm also the kind of person that doesn't like to disturb other people. I always feel that if I write to someone, I'm going to disturb them. So I want everybody to be comfortable, and I don't want to disturb the peace of anyone ever in any way. So I won't even ask how you're doing, or unless I know that something's wrong and I'm concerned about someone, then of course I'm going to ask. But so I didn't try to contact you, and I didn't try to anything in that way. And I was also channeling Metatron. He is my main guide, not one of my main guides, but my main guide. And he's always to my right. And one day, this was in April 2019, I asked a question which I never asked before, which was, why are you here? Like, why are you my guide? What's the point? And who am I to you, and who are you to me? And the answer was very clear and very prompt and very short, the way the answers always are coming from Metatron. And it was something that I'm still having a hard time to say. As just talking about it now, my heart is racing, because I still think it's crazy and surreal, and who am I to say these things and to hear these things? But the answer was, I am your son and I'm your brother. And I said, no, you cannot, I'm nobody. I'm a nobody. You cannot. I'm making this up again. I thought I'm making this up. And then I heard it clearly again. No, you are my mother, but you are also my sister. And then I never raised the question again. And I just thought it was stupid, really. I thought it was crazy. And oh God, I'm sorry. It's weird to speak about it. And it's something that I said I'm never going to talk about because it's just, it's so crazy to me. But then in October, no, it was before October 2020, but in October 2020, I talked to Nilesh for the first time. All of a sudden in 2020, you befriended me on Facebook, and I thought, why? And how did you find me? Like, why, what happened? How? I never tried to look for you. We don't even have anything in common, friends in common, anything like that. So how did you? And I double checked to see if it's the same Nilesh from the session with Alba. And then you wrote to me. I didn't write to you because I'm also like, again, who am I to write to anybody? And then you wrote to me and said, we need to talk. And I'm a shy person, and my first instinct was like, nah, and oh my God, it's Metatron, and nah. But then I said, okay, let's do this, let's talk. And yes, this was in October 2020 when we connected heart to heart, the way you do it. And we went together to this place outside of the all that is. And you confirmed for the first time that I'm not crazy, that there is a place that is outside of the all that is kind of like the skin encompassing the all that is, and that's where we come from. And that, yes, I could see you being created out of me, but at the same time, you are equal to me. So it's not, there is no hierarchy, there is no, all is love, and love is all, and there's nothing other than love, and everything that is within the all that is also love. And the way that we choose to perceive things, it's a matter of programming here, and it's a matter of the energies of this realm. But initially and innately, all is love. And when I had this connection with Nilesh that evening, I found home. All my questions were answered, and for the first time in my life, I didn't feel crazy. And yeah, I'm a little bit out of words right now. So yeah, go ahead. I also said that I would never, ever, ever tell this to anybody. And then I heard that there were 2 more sisters, and I thought that was so cool. And I've been also thinking about this thing that number 4 is Earth, right? It's the planet. And of course, there's so many more of us. It's not just us. It's a big family. We are many here. But it's just, I'm so grateful for all of this. And if you would like to say something, or anyone.
Absolutely right. So when I saw you, I thought, yes, like there's definitely a connection here, and a family connection at that, and I needed to get in touch. See, the thing is, Ara, you're so independent, which you always have been, and I know this about you. You're so independent, you're so powerful, your frequency and vibration is so high, you don't need anything or anyone. And I know that about you. I get that.
Like that.
Yeah, I know that's you. That's okay. Yeah, that's who you are. It's that, and the reason I know and feel that is because you've just done so much, and your experience, and there's wisdom and knowledge, and you get it, and I know that about you. And so I needed you to know that you were part of the family. You weren't alone. And that's and you know, it's exactly what you said, is that we all remind each other of home, of what we know as home. And I think that's so important, because right now, with everything that's going on, if anything, we all need to be reminded of home a little bit every now and then. to help us, on this journey, to help us to get through it. So the more that you do connect with your soul family, you will be reminded of home. And that's what it feels like. Yeah. It's like all your life, all your human life, I'm speaking to every one of you now, all your human life, you have always felt out of place, always. Like Melanie said, she felt she was adopted, I definitely felt like the black sheep of the family. We've all felt like that. And that is no coincidence you felt like that. There's no coincidence that your life, you planned it that way. It's because we knew when this was coming, as we are living in the time right now, that we needed to be separate from humanity as a whole because of what's happening right now, and so we could continue forward. And that's why you have never agreed with your family, your friends. You've never just towed the line. You've never just done what you've been told. How many times have your parents have said to you, why don't you just do as you're told? Like, why don't you just do it? Why don't you just comply? How many times have you heard that? How many times? I've heard it many times in my life. And all of that was training for each and every one of you. It was training, and it was training for this moment in time, for here, for right now. This is what it was for. Everything that you've not been doing with your family, not complying, not agreeing with you, arguing with them, fighting with them, refusing to bow, refusing to give in, that was all training. And that was training for right now. That's what it was for. That's what it was for. And so it's really important that you remember that's why you are the black sheep of the family. That's why you never did as you're told. Yeah, that's why you always were very good at saying no, and that's why you probably got smacked a bit more than the other children and than your other brothers and sisters. This is why. Yeah, for this moment in time. And I think it's really important to remember that. Now, Aura is, to me, like, she has tremendous amount of wisdom and knowledge, and I love sharing with Aura because we come up with the same stuff, and like I said, like each sister, each family member is very unique in the gifts that they have and what they're here to do. And Aura also does QHTT as well, so it's important to know that. And like I say, each and every one of you will feel drawn towards a particular sister, and that's the whole point of having this introduction right now, is for you to kind of connect with them in the way that you have connected with me and many others as well. You will feel drawn, and there are more to the family, more than what I remember for sure. There are more, and I'm so the purpose of this was to introduce these amazing vibrations, which are my sisters, but it's also encouraging each and every one of you to connect with your soul family. And if you haven't done that yet, then did you forget that you're a creator? And did you forget that you can manifest? And right now, with Gaia's vibration being so high, you can manifest like quickly, like in 20 minutes. That's how quick you can manifest these days. So put out the intention, if you haven't connected with your soul family, that you want to, because going forward from this time onwards, you're going to need them more than ever. You're going to need them. We are seeing a definite divide in humanity, those who are going to leave out of choice and those who are going to stay. And you need to connect with your soul family. And the other thing is, it also like opens up so much more about your own vibration, stuff that's locked until you connect with a soul family member and they unlock that for you. Like the memories that I have with Ines, she's, when she sings nursery rhymes, to me, that's like the most amazing thing ever. It's the most beautiful sing song I have ever heard in my life, like ever. Like there's no other piece of music that brings so much joy to my heart, compared to when she sings. Like that's how it is for me. But I wouldn't have known that if we had never connected. I wouldn't have known that if we hadn't connected. I wouldn't have known that sharing the experiences of what I'm receiving is identical to what Aura receives. And I love the fact that she's so independent with the way that she is. She connects with us. We're always connected, but she is so independent with that. And her understanding and her knowledge is like, unparalleled, for 100% sure. And the same with Melanie, you know, her creativity, her kind of knowledge of what she does, the physical act of blocking vibrations in various parts of, you know, our world, our country. She's so brilliant at that. She's so brilliant at being more and more and more open, you know, and more allowing. And again, sharing that vibration. We wouldn't have ever known that, and I wouldn't have been able to help unless we made these connections. So it's so important, especially now. And I know this is why we're doing this, to kind of say, hey, look, we're the example of this, and we want you to follow this. It's really important, really important. I think that's fair to say, Aura.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I agree with every single word that you're saying. Oh my God, it's truly a blessing, and I cannot believe that it took so many years of my life, but it was all absolutely necessary. Everything had to happen the way it did, and there is no other way. And I just feel so blessed to be here right now in this time and space with all of you here, and all of you who are not here. And
yes, for those who watch the replay on YouTube, I don't know if anybody else is feeling this energy, but I'm like breaking. Tears are just on the border here. Every time you mention lullaby, I'm ready to cry. I can't even talk. I can feel that energy. It's so strong. The mother and the, I can't even, I'm going to choke up. But every time I'm with the four of you, I feel this overpowering love. It's so strong.
Yes.
So do you want to go back to Melanie, and is there any more that you want to talk about? Because I'm seeing questions, at least one. Or did you want to go to ask, bring questions, ask if people want questions? I can't even talk. I'm telling you, I'm so emotional right now.
We'll do another round, just explaining a little bit more about our past and how it all happened, really.
Okay.
With me, it was in 2012, and I ended up originally in America, but things happened, and obviously guides really didn't want me there, so they did a lot of huge shifting to get me out of the States, and I ended up on the island of Cyprus, and thought that I'd physically had never been there, not in this life anyway, but that was a whole different ball game. As soon as I got onto Cyprus, that was it for me. I mean, I was definitely not spiritual, not into energy therapy, not into any of it at all. Got onto the island and everything started happening, and that was where my awakening occurred, and had a lot of realizations that I'd had many lives on that island, huge amount of lives. Everything happened to me. I had Enoch coming, I had light beings coming, lots of activations, because Cyprus is a extremely high resonance, high vibration experiences that I'd been with the Essenes, because obviously the Essenes had been on Cyprus, or to do with the Knights Templar. It just went on and on. Yeshua, Mary Magdalene, Isis, all stems back to that area and Cyprus. And then obviously it became understanding to why I'd been there, why I was put there, and I literally was put there. And that everything opened up. If you'd have said that where I am today, maybe, like 15 years ago, I would have said, not a chance. No way would I say that I would be here saying that I am something to do with Metatron. But from that, it's I got on a journey of, as Nilesh said, I'm an avid researcher to the nth degree, to a ridiculous amount. And I've spent my last probably 13, 14 years doing that, which has taken me to Asia to train with grandmasters. In Cyprus, I was lucky to train with the researchers of truth. I don't know whether anybody's ever heard of the Magus of Strovolos. And it just went on and on and on. And now I understand why. Many years later, I understand what it was all about. And the avid interest, obsession really, with sacred geometry and Metatron. Sacred geometry, like unbelievably so. And then I had an experience where I was going to a channeling workshop, and there was 10 people there. It was in UK in Bournemouth, and you were supposed to be bringing somebody in, guides, whoever it was, and they went round the room, and I was the last one. And I'm sat there and I'm going to myself, there's nobody here. What am I going to do? And everybody had been round, everybody had brought somebody in. Anyway, the lady, Shirley, she said to me, Melanie, she said, you have a very large being above you. Would you give, she said, him permission to come in? And I'm like, right, okay then. Yes, because we were already nice protected space. So in this energy came, and it was very, very big energy. And it was like, she said, right, okay then, say something. Couldn't say anything. She kept saying, come on, say something, say something. And I'm like, I can feel something here. And she had, say something. And then suddenly it's like somebody had literally broken something, and out of my mouth shot literally this just tirade of light language. And at that point I knew about it. I definitely couldn't speak it, and it came out and it went on and on and on and on, to the degree where the lady taking the workshop just went, hang on, you're gonna have to stop. It was like a cork had been taken out of a bottle, and it just went on. And she asked who it was, and he wouldn't say. And she said, well, I'm going to call you Jack. And this laugh came out of my mouth, and I'm like, what's happening? And that was like, after that workshop, and I got back out in the car when my husband picked me up, and it was like, I've just had the weirdest thing happen to me. You will not believe it. And it took me a long time to come to terms with what had happened, because I'd done all the training, I'd been everywhere, I'd researched, I'd done everything. And obviously this kind of really took my feet from underneath me. And it took a long time, because my logical side of me was like, what's this? What's it doing? Why is it for? And then obviously the researcher side of me goes into overdrive and wants to know everything about light language, what it does, why does it, where's it come from, how does it work? And this went on for a very long time, and I couldn't find the answers. I used to speak to people and they'd say, oh, it did this and this, and it was like, no. Other people, no. And it took a long time, and eventually the simplest thing is that you don't think of. I thought, right, I'm going to ask the question. So I got a big pad and I wrote these questions out, and I thought, right, okay, here we go. Question 1, and we went through all these questions, and I got these answers, and it was so complex. The answers that came through, all to do with quantum physics, all to do with 5D, and afterwards I had to look the words up. I had to physically go and look some of the words up, because I'd never even heard of them. So this definitely wasn't me. And that was the start of it. And then it was like, people can write it, and I tried and nothing happened. And then one day it was like, okay, get a pen and some paper. And then that was it. I was off. And I have got like just literally pads and pads and pads, and I couldn't stop. I used to get up in the morning and sit, and I would just literally, I've got books and books and books and rows and rows and rows and a ton of these. And this had to come out. There was no stopping it. And it just went on for months and months and months until it needed to do what it needed to do. And then I worked out that through actually writing 2 lines of light language on a friend's birthday card, and then she had this massive awakening and beings coming and speaking light language, that I had the realization of what my light language actually did. So it's been one enormous journey, and this was all before even meeting Nilesh and my other sisters, and then that took it, obviously, as you can imagine, to a whole new level. And but it's good, because with what I do, it's like Aura. The weirdest thing was, when we met up, we both do the same thing. We are both beyond quantum healing practitioners.
Yeah.
So that's fantastic, and it's a way that we've now found that when we get clients, the clients have ended up being family. We are waking family up. So with everything that we do, we always seem to get people now that are drawn to us, obviously with our frequency, and 9 times out of 10, when we get to the bottom of it, it's family. So it's an amazing journey, and it still is every day.
Brilliant. Yeah, I agree. All of that. Yeah. Oh wow, what a journey. It's crazy. Ines, Aura, is there any more you want to add?
Oh, I can say my funny experience how I started to awaken, that I realized that there is something else than just the 3D life. I was walking in the city, in capital city of Slovenia, very confusing. My mind were very all over the place. And I just felt someone came into my legs physically, like stopping me, and in my hands. And I was like scared. What is happening to my body? What's wrong? And I just clearly heard, what did you need right now at the moment? And I said, oh, I am hungry and thirsty. So go to sit, find something to eat and to drink. And I was like a robot. I found the first cafe, and I ordered to eat and to drink. And then they just told me, don't judge, don't gossip. And just when you are in the peace, we can guide you. And I was like so powerful. This experience was so powerful at that time that I was writing this down, and I said, who were they? And then I realized in the time that they were my guides, stopping me and teaching me how to stop, how to calm down, and how to find my inner balance again. This is one experience that is like starting. I was a student at that time, but all how it started in my life, I started to communicate with that people. Spiritualism. I was very curious and not very responsible. I was like very searching, and then I had not just beautiful experience, I would say, I had also terrible experience with this and scary things. But this was all the evolution of my clairvoyance. Then I learned how to hear more clearly and to feel the energy. But the most beautiful experience that I had last year is with the source. I already told this to you guys, but not to others. I said to myself, simple like that, I said, if it's so easy to connect now, because I developed my inner voice, inner self developed very much, to connect with guides, why would not be easy to connect with the source in the same way? And I said, okay, I will try. I lie down in my bed and I just cocoon myself. And I said, okay, source, now I'm thinking of you and I want you to come over to visit me and to give me a big, big, wonderful hug. And really, I was waiting like a kid, and I felt a big one energy which was hugging me. And I was like, oh, I started to talk with this being, so like a kid. La, 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 I don't like this on the planet. I would like to run away. It's better to be in your realms. You know, I want some people to talk to with. I feel so lonely. And I was like expressing like I was exploding to his heart, everything. But my mind was not sure that was the source. I was not sure about it. You know, mind is always questioning if we are right or wrong, or, you know. And then I said to him, okay, I really wish to connect with more people who are like me, who thinks about love, who really appreciate and who are more spiritual. And then I went to work, and the next morning I woke up and I get a message from my friend from New Zealand that there is a guy in Israel who's received a message from the source that there he will connect with, that he needs to invite in one group, one Ines, that he will connect with me through this guy from New Zealand. I don't know if I explained it well, but when I received this message, I was like, confirmation. I was, yes, if the source was the God, yeah, it was him, you know. And then I was so happy, and I said, okay, if it's this a confirmation that I needed, you know, I will connect with the source more and more time. It's so simple in the end. We sometimes forget that where the thought process go, energy flows also. So when we connect with Metatron or with any other archangels or with whoever we want, we just need to take time for doing this in a quiet place, or even when we are on the train or at work, anywhere where we are, we can connect with them, and just being silent in a stillness, in a beingness, and wait for feeling what we feel and what we will accept. And then slowly, the gifts will be built more and more. This is my two best experiences that I had that were very much awakening for me, that I opened my eyes and changed my life also in some areas. I still need to do a lot of changes and everything. I'm still a human experience and have my processes, but this was amazing. What I wanted to share with the world, with people who are listening. Yeah.
Beautiful.
That's all. Yeah.
Thank you, Ines. Beautiful. Lovely. Aura, is there anything else you'd like to add?
Yeah, I want to say that yes, we are all human here, and we all are going, also like Melanie has said, through the dark night of the soul. We're doing our shadow work, we are having our human problems, and you know, we're not special. This is, I think, the first and foremost thing that I want to say. We are not special. We are not more special than anybody else here. We are not more special than this bottle. We're not more special than the table, than anything that exists in the entirety of all existence. There is no such thing as hierarchy in any way, and everything that we can do, you can do. There's no limit to all that we are in our infinite aspects. And this is also what I love about our work, beyond quantum healing, that we can offer everybody the opportunity to find and to experience and to connect to their infinite being, and to then be able to connect to their infinity without needing a practitioner and without needing assistance from anybody else, and just do their work from there on, to remember how infinitely vast and powerful and just insanely amazing we all are. Sorry. Yeah, for me, it all started since I was born. I have memories since I was about 3 weeks old. And I remember wanting to die. What am I doing here? Why I'm in the wrong body, in the wrong planet, wrong place, wrong time. I shouldn't be here. And I was a very psychically open child also. Since back then I could see spirits and beings and all kinds of entities. And then something happened. I guess I got muted. I guess it's also because I realized that it's weird what I'm doing, and that's not how the world works. And I never understood humans. I didn't understand why we need money. I didn't understand why people need to fight. I didn't understand why people argue, why there's greed. All these things just never made sense to me. And so I guess somehow I suppressed the way that I was. And when I was a teenager, I would still see, hear other entities and beings and so on and so forth. But I used to think that I was mentally ill. I even went to see a psychiatrist, telling them that I feel the pain of the entire world within my body and I just want to die with it because I want to save the world from the pain. And I was immediately given Zoloft, and within 15 minutes and diagnosed with different things. So yeah, that was a fun experience. But fast forward a few years later, I realized that there's nothing wrong with me, and that this is just how I am. And one thing also that I've been doing, because Melanie says she reads a lot and reads all kind of books and wanted to research everything, I'm the exact opposite. I don't read, and every time I want to read, I wanted to read Joe Dispenza, for instance, just to expand my vocabulary, to be able to explain to people what I feel and what I perceive. I needed a vocabulary for it, to at least try and put it into words. But something keeps me from reading these books. Something keeps me from looking for the information somewhere else outside of myself. I'm not allowed to do it in any way. It's crazy. And also, just like Melanie, I'm writing things down or I'm channeling things, and then I have to look up the words because I don't know what they mean. My conscious mind doesn't know what the words mean. So I have to, and I record myself, I sit and channel. I try to do it every day. And usually I ask, what is it that I need to know right now for my highest well-being and for the highest well-being of all? And I just record myself. And then I listen to it and I'm thinking, I don't know what I said. I'm looking words up. I'm looking things up to see if they're true, if it's real, if I'm making it up. And yeah, this is kind of how it's always been and how it is. And we're finally here.
Absolutely, yes. I it's the same. I cannot read. I have the best of intentions, like you are. I have the best of intentions, thinking, no, this looks really good. I really need to read this book. It sounds amazing, and I started, and I have to stop. You know the TV Gaia TV. Mm-hmm. I can't watch it. Because every time I watch it, right, and I see and hear things, there is this inner knowing that that's not right. You forgot to mention this, and this. Oh, what about this bit? Yeah. And this is what happens when I watch these things. So I can't watch any of that anymore. I can't read any more of that anymore. So this is why, it's like this constant kind of almost adjustments of like, hey, they're saying something and you're like, yeah, that's right, this is the way it's done. But then the vibration changes, and for you it's very much like, oh no, you forgot this and this, and you forgot to mention that. And yes, it does do what you're saying it does, but it also does this and this. And I can't just sit and just enjoy it, which is what I really want to do, just sit and enjoy. I can't do that anymore, so I can't watch it.
Yeah.
spoil it for me.
But then at the same time, I'm also understanding and knowing that there are infinite truths out there.
Yes.
As many versions of each, I mean, each and every one of us right here has infinite versions of themselves, and those infinite versions of themselves have infinite versions of themselves as well.
Yes.
And all these versions have their own individual truths. And so I can also not tell anybody that what they see or what they perceive is not true, because whatever they perceive is their truth.
Yes.
Whatever that may be. It's like saying, I hate this soup, you like this soup, but no, you have to hate it because I hate it. It's soup. We all have different tastes. We perceive things in different ways. And so, it's
absolutely. And you're right about that, Aura. It's about the vibration is what your knowledge and wisdom is. The brighter the light, the more information, wisdom you've just accumulated through your own particular experiences as different beings on different planets and different universes. And that's kind of where that comes from. And you're absolutely right about that. So yes, I agree with you. Yeah, 100%. So that's probably why you can't read and watch things.
Yeah, I think it's one of the reasons. I wanted to ask, because I saw this beautiful question about the other siblings, I guess, in the family. Someone was asking, I think it was Ursula. What was the question? Is it okay if I take a question?
Of course it is, yes.
Because I thought it was really interesting. Yes. And I've been, yes, can you explain what is the difference between the group of 4 and the other fractals of Metatron, please? Why are not all fractals of Metatron brothers and sisters in kind? The group of 4 and the first thing that I wanted to say is that, again, we are all equal. And I was shown Source, and I was shown all of us. And I was in this realm where Source creates us, and it says, you are part of me, thus you are equal to me, and you create others. And it's like this tree that branches out. There is the branch cannot live without the tree, and the tree cannot live without the trunk. Without the branch, it's not a tree. It's all an entirety, and all is equal. There is probably the tree is not the best analogy either, because it's all one, it's all the same, it's all the same energy.
Yeah.
And even if it's not, let's say, family of Metatron or the family of what I call it, the caretakers, it still is one, it still is equal. Oh my God, okay. Nilesh, please go ahead.
No, you're right. That is right. The best way, I suppose, one of the ways I would kind of describe it would be if you can imagine the fractals being consciousness within themselves, and then Metatron and like many other beings. I'm just using Metatron because that's what we're talking about, but if you can imagine each and every one of those fractals, those microscopic fractals, are bits of consciousness. Now, you wouldn't inhabit, it wouldn't be the entirety of the consciousness. There'll be certain traits, certain elements that you bring forward. And we've done this before, where I've done a group of different Metatrons, and they are also fractals, and they bring their uniqueness of that. Metatron is everything and nothing all at the same time. And so it's bringing that forward. And the most beautiful thing about being human is the variety. We love variety here. You angelics are the same. You love variety. You love exploring new things. You like learning about new things. You love experiencing new things. And there is more. The reason why there is so much variety, the reason there is so many different consciousness of fractals, is because it's going to take more than just one to help all of us. It's going to take more than one. Some people will quite easily be quite endeared towards love and light, and there are those that won't be endeared towards love and light. They're going to need a little bit of darkness in there. They're going to need a little bit more assertiveness in there. So it's all different. We all bring so much difference to this, and the whole purpose is really simple. It's just to help you to come more into your awareness, to come more into your being, to more into you, into who you are, what you are, and you know what you're here to do, your purpose, your mission, you know. And part of that is also about learning about where you've been. You know, your experience is so important too, because you know you just didn't come here to kind of like not remember and then remember. It's more to it than that. You know, you've come in with extraordinary gifts, and it's about using those gifts. And each and every one of us, you know, we all have the keys and the locks to unlock, you know, using our keys, but also for other people to use their keys to unlock us. So do you see how like perfectly this is designed, you know? I mean, how wonderful is it that we can connect with one another, and you can unlock me and I can unlock you, and how grateful we are for that to help us on our next stepping stone, and feeling an enormous amount of gratitude and love. I mean, what better way to create the one consciousness than doing that? There's so many levels, but that's one of it. Does that answer your question? I'm not sure, but yeah, that's how I see it. Is there anything else that you guys want to add? Anything you're kind of, you know, I've got a few things I want to kind of, you know, say and finish on, but I just want to make sure that, you know, you guys have said what you needed to say.
Probably something that obviously that question has just brought up, where some people might be confused, where obviously like you've said, we are only fractals of it all anyway, and people wondering why then there is initially 4 of us.
No, there isn't. There's more than that.
I know there is, but why in this instance, obviously us 4 came together, whereas you don't see anybody else as of yet saying that, you know, we are one of 4, and Metatron's fractal has 3 sisters.
I think actually this is to do with this. Okay, I think this is to do with vibration. It's to do with vibration with Gaia, and it's to do with our own individual vibration as well, and where we're on. Now, if you think of like Gaia as being almost like the leader of the pack, so she's a way ahead of us, and she's kind of pulling us, like we're all attached. If you think of cords that are attached from your heart, and Gaia's holding on to 8 billion plus cords, and she's pulling you all in one direction. And so as you kind of step forward more and more into your awareness, more and more into your vibration, you are no longer being pulled by her anymore. You are kind of matching her, you are with her. And the reason why this is happening is because of that vibration. The time is right now. You know, I did say in previous videos that we would all meet, all of us, we would all meet at the end, all of us. We would all meet, and it's happening. You are gonna get in touch with your family. You are gonna get in touch with your soul family, and the reason why it's happening now, because now is the right vibrational time. You know, there is no time. We can't set it up like, hey, you know, on the 4th of December, we're gonna do this. You know, it wasn't set in time. It was set in vibration, and it wasn't. This is so complex as well. It isn't just about my vibration, but it's about yours, Mel, and about yours, Ines, and yours, Aura. You all had to be at a particular vibration in order for this to happen. Yeah, so that's also so important. It isn't just one level. You know, it isn't like, hey, in 2021 in December, this is what you're going to do. That's set in time. That's linear human time. Nothing is set in linear human time. Everything is set in vibration, and it is so flexible, and it's so intricate. I mean, I see it, you know, in my mind's eye. I see the intricacies of of a lot, and even though I'm seeing what I'm seeing, I know it isn't the entirety of everything that there is. It's just a small perception of this human brain, because it's limited to what it can do right now. So that's the way I see that. I see it that way. So it's because it's vibrationally is set for now, and I feel like as we're going forward, we are going to have so many more connections with so many people. It's going to be like heaven on earth. It's going to be like heaven on earth. So many ways.
That's already happening, and you're right in what you say. Is the fact that I knew, even though none of us had planned ever to say this to anybody or ever to step out at all. And it was always behind the scenes. It was never to, as far as I was concerned, I'm sure like the rest, it was never to tell anybody, never to take it any further, until literally a few weeks ago, when I had a visit from Mother, who handed me Metatron's cube. And then the next day she came in again and said, right, time is now, get hold of your sisters, you need to step out.
Yes, and we know why that is.
Yeah.
Why? Tell me.
Because literally, like you said, when what I felt when she literally handed me Metatron's cube was you can't really explain it. The amount of love that I felt and interacting with Mother. But the other weird thing was, Mother was there in one hand passing me that, but I had somebody else in the other hand passing me a cube and couldn't see the face, and you had to swap them over in visualizing. You had to swap them over into each other's hands, and it was the most difficult thing that I have ever had to do. And I had to sit there concentrating because I wanted to bounce back. It was so difficult. And one, Metatron's cube represented home. The cube represented Earth. And it was like the combination of I wanted to go home, but the Earth was here. And it was like getting me to balance, to stay, to realize why I'm on Earth. And it was at that moment, once I reached that stage, obviously everything then slotted into, as I always talk about, keys. That was a key, and then it just opened everything up, and all of us, that was like, at the moment, that was like, that's the latest key to where we are now, with all four of us on this, doing 100%. What we're doing.
Yeah, 100%. That's right. Yeah. We've all been given the knowledge, 100%. It's just there, it's just accessing it. And the time is now. And, you know, one of the most important things about the high vibrational lights, I'm talking about all of them, is that, like, we put ourselves out there. You know, this is a very kind of controversial, you know, thing to do. People will obviously make their own conclusions and judgments regarding it. And I think specifically coming from the ego mind, I think there's going to be a lot of that. But again, you know, this is the way it is. We got to lead, you know, and that's the kind of the way we've always been. You know, the bright lights, you know, here on the planet, regardless of whether you own that. I mean, you know, we've talked about this before. I own my light. I know I'm bright, but that's not to say that I'm diminishing yours or anyone else's. It's like, I want you to own it too. And we are showing by example to say, hey, I own my light, and I know I'm bright, and I know that is the same for you. So please own yours too, so we can be bright lights together. You know, and it's always been leading by example. And I think this is another way of just, again, you know, another kind of way of like sending the message out to humanity to say, hey, look, you know, families are being bonded together. We are here, you know, we are connecting in this way. It's really important that you start doing this now, because you know what I'm like. I don't want to know about everything. I like the surprise of it. Even if it's terrible, it's still an experience. So for me, it's like, I want to know step by step by step. And sometimes, like you, Mel, and Ines and Ara, you get like to see a lot more, and I like the surprise of it. But it's cool to have that. It's cool to have that kind of, that surprise element to it and go, oh, really surprised by that. That's amazing. Or, oh my God, that was a horrible experience. I'd never want to do that again. But that's kind of like the beauty of it. Getting so many of us to kind of own who we are, own our vibration, own our fractal, own whatever we've been told about ourselves, and then come together as a family, and be together and create this amazing one consciousness, that we're looking forward to, and 5D, which is ready, for us. So it's cool. It's really, really, really cool. Because it'll be boring. If you know the answers to everything, it'll be boring. It'll be like taking the test and you already know the answers, and you've been preparing for that test and know the answers. You've been preparing 20 years of your life for it. So when you come to take the test, it's like, not even a thing, It's not even a thing, is it? So, yeah, that's how I see it. But yeah, it's cool. Anything else you guys want to add?
No, I'll let you do. If you've got some, you said you've got some bits that you want to go through.
Yeah, Ines, Aura, is there anything else that you guys feel compelled to add?
No, it's just, yeah, go ahead, Ines.
No, I just said it's okay. I don't have anything to add. Go, Aura, go.
No, I was just thinking exactly what Nilesh also says, that this is the time that we step into our power, and this is also the only way to create the shift. And now, more than ever, we need to shift. Everything is right there. It's just waiting for us to step into our power, to remember who we are. And as we remember who we are, as we find our families, we can put the puzzle pieces together. And now is the time more than ever. So, Nilesh, you can go ahead. I don't know if we're going to take more questions later, because I saw that someone else had a question.
I don't know.
We're coming up to, I don't know how long you want it to go on for. What I will say before we finally wrap up, when we get to there, that to let everybody know that on the 22nd of January 22, so 22/01/22, the UK way, because I know US it'd be 01/22/22. So anyway, on that date, we're going to be doing an event, and it's going to be called the Metatronic Energy Activation for the New Earth Frequencies. And we would love everybody to be part of this. Obviously, it's going to be a very powerful event, and for everybody to join in. I'm not sure where we're going to host it yet. I'm still sorting that out. However, if you would like to be a part of it and you would like to be notified of it, if you go to my website, which is melanieeasom.com, there is a subscribe button on the bottom of the page. Fill your email address in and just press subscribe. And then when the event is going to be happening and we know where it is, obviously we know the date, we then can at least let everybody know in advance. I mean, we will put it out there, obviously, as much as we can, but if everybody can do that and sign up, it's better. Obviously, everybody's in one place and we can just fire you an email off with all the details. But it will be a very powerful event. And this was the whole reason of us, one of the reasons for us coming together. It all happened at the same time. And literally Mother was like, right, okay, get together. And then you're going to be doing an event. So that was and I didn't know what it was. I was talking to Aura and I said, I know that we're doing an energy event, but I don't really know what it's going to be called. And then the next 5 minutes as we're talking, it's like, oh, right, okay, that's what it's called.
Yeah, Yeah, and it's going to be a guided meditation, or
Yes.
an overall meditation to shift the vibrations into coming, humanity coming into its power. And yeah, as Melanie was saying, the Metatronic frequencies of
it will be powerful. And it will be powerful for the people that attend, and we will be really shifting some energy.
Yeah.
I put the lady's contact information in the chat pane. All of their information is in the chat pane.
Okay, fantastic.
I did put Nilesh's in earlier, but everybody knows how to contact Nilesh.
Yep.
And it will also be on the YouTube videos information on our website and on our Facebook page. So if you miss it today, it'll be posted on there as well for all three ladies, all three of the sisters. And there were other questions. I don't know if were you done, Melanie? I'm sorry.
Yes. I just wanted to let everybody know of that before we went on. While I remembered.
There was.
I saw that also Jeffrey had a question earlier. You were raising your hand, and I don't know if you still have a question.
There was one before Ursula's.
Well, nobody's going to speak up.
Could you just give me 1 second, please? Let's see. I'm scrolling because I just posted everybody's information. Oh, here it is, Jeffrey. This is the one that you posted. Is this present incarnation that we're in now what one might call a king incarnation?
Yeah, I think that as we have risen to this level of consciousness, and we're becoming aware of our past lives, many of us, we're now able to gather all that experience into elevating our consciousness to something that has not been experienced on Earth before, perhaps. Of course, anything's possible, but I'm just wondering if anybody's heard it termed this way and what your thoughts are on that. Maybe, Nilesh, if you have any thoughts on that, I'm very curious.
Do you know, I'm going to let the sisters answer. So what do you think, sisters?
I haven't heard about the king incarnation. That's all I can say. I'm sorry.
I didn't heard, but I get what maybe he thinks about it. How I see it, that we collect every fractals, every what we've been, every self that we've been, collect into the one beingness. My guides showed me and told me once that we will in this lifetime be able to be in connection with our multidimensional self in one particular life and in one body. And this is going to bring the superhuman. A king incarnation, okay, but this lifetime is the main time where we just focus everything what it was in the past is also here in the present moment. So that's how I see it. Yeah, that can be called. This is also just a label of one life. It's we love to label things. Our human consciousness love to do that. But I will be like, focus on your life, what it is now, and just be in the moment. And this is all that matters, and all that comes together from inside out and from outside in, to come together to just be who you are, an exact moment where you are. That's something that came out.
Brilliant.
So to that point is perhaps one of the lifetimes we're experiencing that we can actually do that we can actually access that space between the space, if you will, to connect to source and even our higher self, to access that wisdom from the other lives, or perhaps even from future lives. We have now that ability. We've risen over that threshold that we now have that ability to access. And I think part of our experience, many as practitioners here, we get to witness people viewing their past life experiences. We view our own. And that practice of doing that reaffirms and deepens our belief, deepens our understanding, deepens our ability to make that connection. So it's just very curious to me. And it's an interesting contemplation. I just thought maybe that was something to bring forward today.
I definitely say, I know that you would as well, Aura. That obviously, as we say that everything that is happening simultaneously, it's not necessarily past, it's not necessarily future, but as far as I believe that we, as the brother and the sisters are concerned, this is definitely, even if you wanted to put it as a future, I feel as though I am definitely from and connected to way out as far as you can get. It's not as you would pass. It's not a past life. This is something that is literally way out into the universe, as is now, in this moment. Past, present, and future all rolled into one.
Absolutely, and not just that, but also the infinite aspects of ourselves, which are in so-called parallel universes that are living at this time parallel, slightly similar and also not different aspects of this life. Like just in these sessions, as I'm having clients who have experienced a version of Earth that went into the apocalypse, or have experienced other versions of themselves living life now, born almost the same year that they were born in this conscious everyday life. But this is also what quantum is. It's infinite possibilities and infinite probabilities, because all is infinite. And you cannot say that this doesn't exist, because existence cannot not exist, and everything exists, and thus everything is possible. It's
it is. You're totally right, Aura. I mean, everything that we do with our frequencies and working with BQH, we do go quantum. We are quantum. Our light language is quantum. We are working in the quantum realms, into literally the multiverses, aren't we?
I think it's time to stop limit ourselves to these physical bodies, and also stop limit ourselves to, it's very hard to break away from what we have known for thousands of years, but it's also all a matter of remembering that we are not just flesh and bones, and this is not just a table, and that everything is interconnected, and everything is energy, and everything is a wave particle, everything is light. And thus, as you also said, Melanie, we are quantum. It's not there, nothing is separate. There is no such thing as separation. It's just a matter of remembering and accessing everything. Yeah.
So, Jeffrey, have you ever experienced, when you're having a conversation with someone who's feeling particularly distressed about something, and for some reason you just know what to say, the right thing at the right time with the right tone? You ever experienced that in your life?
Absolutely. In fact, I notice it most during a conversation with someone's higher self during a session. Oftentimes they'll run into almost a dead end, what feels like a dead end, and I'll feel like, okay, I don't know what to ask. And then all of a sudden the words come through my mouth, and it's absolutely perfect, and it propels it along forward to just where it needs to go. But it does happen in, usual normal daily life. sometimes more than others, sometimes more of it. But I do feel like the higher self is merging more and more. And it's wonderful. I will say that, that maybe it's the eclipse energies. There's a lot of distractions, especially if you have a job or an occupation that calls a lot of responsibility on your shoulders. It can be difficult to focus and to cast the distractions aside. In fact, this week I had, it's been fights this week. I've experienced some fighting, and I don't like to fight. I don't like people to be mad at me or anything. And of course, after the fight, I think I know something positive is coming out of this. And, my higher self's got me to act accordingly, always in grace. But inside, there's this raging and, real angst. And, I think we process it, and we call upon our higher self to do that. I think it's been available to us available to me anyways, more than I've experienced my whole life. And to sort of put the exclamation point on it, just yesterday, I had a fight. It was just a little, conversation. It wasn't even conversation, it was text with a landscaper. And it was very simple. He could have said yes or no, but he went off. He was obviously very low vibration. But I was very dejected and very upset. And I said, okay, how do I get through this? How do I manage this? My higher self was telling me it's like I had a 1-ton block to lift. And I knew I had to lift it, but at the same time, I knew it was going to be a hard thing to get out of this. Well, to put the exclamation point on it, on the way home, a brand new landscaper who was really nice and for half the price found me. And I'm like, it was effortless, it was out of the blue, and it was just an amazing synchronicity. So I just feel like things are really happening. Even if you are distracted, I think we still are generally in a higher space because we set our intention, we have our practices, and we act accordingly. But it's just been really interesting time, and it's so good to be here with a group who's just in such a high consciousness and being able to share. So I just want to say thanks for that.
I've got a couple of questions. So, when you were talking about when you were doing your sessions and you automatically just know what to say and you follow that without putting up a block. So when you're talking about your king soul, or your king fractal, or your king vibration, how does your heart feel when you say what needs to be said, and then it opens up even more than you imagined it would? How does your heart feel?
I think it's a feeling of intrigue as much as anything else. No, Jeffrey, no, that's not what I want from you. I think, okay? That comes from the rational 3D mind. I know, or I feel this. Those are the words I want you to use. So try again. Yes, it feels like intrigue as much as it does love. Thank you. and this has come to me in the past as, different things that I do. The feeling of intrigue and the feeling of love and the feeling of gratitude seem to all be in the same place. It's all pretty much the same vibration. And I just thought that was interesting. When we feel intrigue or gratitude, we know that's a loving vibration. So we can call upon any of these experiences to get to that same level of vibration, I think.
Absolutely. And you are everything, and everything is you. And the quicker you come to that realization, the access to the information you're looking for will present itself at the right time, right place, right frequency, right vibration. So when you were talking about a gardener and it just happened, well, it didn't just happen, Jeffrey. You manifested it. You created it. Because you've forgotten one important factor is that you're a manifester, you're a creator, and the angst and anger you're feeling is very normal. And I'm glad you raised that, because I do want the world to know that this is very normal right now. I have been feeling it too. I've been feeling it too. There are days, there are moments that I feel angry and I feel cross, and like someone can say the most nicest things and I'm like, you know, that's okay. That's okay. And the reason you're feeling that is not a reflection on the soul that you are, okay? The reason you're feeling that is because there is a lot of anger around us right now. And we, as light beings, we take that and we hold it in within us. And what you should be doing is releasing it into Gaia so she can transmute it. We don't want you to be holding on to that angst. Now, it's really important that you understand that. It's really important that you follow that. As light workers, we're really good at taking on all of the energies around us, especially the negativity. Ara's talked about that, you know, Melanie's talked about that, Ines has talked about it. We're very heart-centered based beings. And so taking on that is fine, because that's a very loving thing to do. It's a very loving thing to take on board. But also what is really loving to yourself is to let it go, to allow Gaia to transmute it, because she's incredible that way. So I think that's really important for you to remember. But yes, whatever label you want to give it, the king soul, the king fractal, whatever it might be for you, Jeffrey, that's what it is for you. Like Ara said, there is no experience that is invalid. If it's real to you and it feels real to you and this is what you want, then this is what your experience will be. Remember, you chose your experience. And you know what? The beautiful thing about this one is that it can be changed and manifested in many different ways. You're always given a choice. You have free will. You know, Father made sure that you had that here. You have free will. So you can choose every day, every decision. You can choose whatever you want it to be.
And Nilesh, if I may, I just wanted to add something that you said eloquently. But what I have been finding with myself is that when anger, fear, anxiety, I also find that it doesn't belong to me. And so I just have to, you know, this isn't mine, this isn't me, I'm a sovereign being, and I choose to have it returned to where it came from, or just automatically send it down to Gaia or to Father or somewhere else, because it's not me, it's not mine.
Correct. That's right. You're right about that, Rhonda. Correct. Yeah. Okay. I'm very mindful of not this becoming, you know, about other things. It was about the sisters. So sisters, is there anything else that you wanna add?
No, not for me. No. Thank you.
Yes, also here it's all good.
I'm also good. Thank you. You're muted.
You're muted, Nilesh.
Okay, is that better? Can you hear me?
That's much better. We can hear you now, darling.
Right, okay, let's start back again. Right, angels, right? Every single one of you are angels. Whether you remember it or not is irrelevant, right? Every single one of you are. And there are a couple of things I want to remind the angels, okay? Angels, right? To give hope, yeah? To give courage. Remember of the pure heart that you have. Make sure that you find the comfort during your darkest days. I think that's really important. Remember about the healing that you already have and that you can give. Remember that you're there to guide and you have guidance. And remember, it's also about sharing vibration. And that's kind of what I got today with a lot of angels. Angelics will be watching this, and I want to just remind you of that. And I just want to finish on one last thing. So I'm going to read this out to you because I wrote this down earlier today. So stand by me and I will stand with you so we can stand together. That's it. Just for people to remember that.
There was a question by somebody who's left. Unless LL came back, I didn't see them. It says this person said, I feel like I'm a fractal of Archangel Michael, Mother Mary, and Saint Germain, and the violet flame. Is it possible to be a spark of more than one? And I'm quite blocked with it, though. So that's a good question for the audience, for any one of you to answer if you would like. Is it possible to be more than one?
Most definitely.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Absolutely. One thing that, again, we need to learn is to not limit ourselves, because we are not limited. And we hold fractals of many energies. And just as Nilesh/Metatron said, this thing, and it's so funny because I just wanted to say this, but I didn't want to interrupt anybody. What we started with is, I am all and all is me. It doesn't apply to Metatron. It applies to all, to each and every being here, to each and every plant, to each and every grass, to everything, to every ant. It is all and all is it. It's so, yes, you can hold many aspects, many energies, many consciousnesses and just overall waves within yourself. And this is also what makes you unique. This is what makes us unique. If someone wants to. I feel that there's so much information in my head, but I cannot constrain it within words. So I need help.
You're totally correct.
You're doing great.
Yeah.
And what you're doing is your energy is coming. It's pushing out, and it's beautiful. So don't worry about the words. It's what you're sending us. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, they're absolutely right. You can hold many, many vibrational frequencies, fractals within your soul. And it's wonderful that you're discovering this, because this is the time. You know, each one of those, I know Michael, I know St. Germain, they have a specific frequency that I remember and I know. And each one of them are very unique in the way that their vibration and frequency is. And so, yes, it's so important to bring that forward. Why would you not want to bring that forward? And like, did you forget like that you guys like variety? Like, it's not fun just being one or two or maybe three. I mean, that's not a challenge, you know? Why don't we do the whole lot, you know? And so that's one of the most beautiful things, because, you know, in this particular vibration frequency experience that we are having, I would suspect that you have embodied other same fractals, but in another experience. And one of the most beautiful things about the experience is that we can have, you know, the fractals, the embodiment of those within our souls in the human experience, because it would be different. So if you embodied, say, let's have an example, say like Michael and St. Germain, but you embodied it as, I don't know, as a Palladian, yes, having a Palladian experience, that would be a very distinct experience that you would have, and it would be very different from a human one. So why would you not want to take those fractals too and embody them in a human experience to see what happens? It's like, I wouldn't say it's like an experiment, but it feels a little bit like that. It's like the excitement of it, you know, almost kind of manifesting or being created into a different experience for you. And this is how wondrous you are. You know, Father tells me this all of the time, that you're very curious, you know, as beings. You're very curious, and you definitely want to experience in the way we've described. You know, it's very important. So the answer is yes, and there will be more.
I wanted to touch on the whole king fractal thing really quick, because Thor is actually one of the fractals that I embody, and you have to be careful with the whole king thing, because it can lead to thinking that you have control over people, which is like a third dimensional viewpoint, you know. And I guess the greatest kings of all time led through love and bumping people up emotionally. So that's all I wanted to say.
Okay, thank you. I don't think I have any more questions unless I'm missing something. Ursula, you had a question. So are we our guides?
Yes. Yes, we are our guides. They are an extension of us, and we are an extension of them. I have my galactic guides, for instance, who sometimes they come and sit within me. So when I meditate, they literally come and sit within my body, and they correct me every time I say they. They say, no, it's I, it's me, it's not they. And it's the same thing with the higher self and all the other so-called guides. They are all a fractal of us, and we are a fractal of them. So they are us, and we are them. And again, we are infinite. We are infinite. I think it's something that I know it's something that we need to to embody, to literally to have it as part of our everyday conscious experience, knowing being. And also, Ines, when you want to hug that tree, just hug it. Please just hug it. Just go and hug it. It needs you to hug it. It's okay. Who cares what other people think on the street? They are you, and you are them.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Michelle had a question.
Thank you. I had a vision one evening, and it was a structure, and it felt like you would have, like, say, an angelic structure, and it would be surrounded by a ascended master structure, and then a goddess, and then a god, etc., in a hierarchy way, but they would all fold into one thing. So it was almost like pieces of metal, like old tin toys, very, very, very complex ones. But anyway, it made, so what I felt like it was showing me is that we all have a template for every single being that we know and don't know about in our things, just stacked within our field. And since I don't, my vision and stuff is not that complex. So that to me was just like an inkling of, so that's the question. Are we made up of, or do you feel like we are made up of, like, every kind of, all the things reside within us, like Metatron, like we each have our own access to a Metatron, to a Michael, to all the people, to all the things that we've learned about? Or do they already just reside in our template? Like, is the information already in us? Somehow each complete in our own way. Like, we don't have to go outside to get any of that. It's already here. Or if you know how to explain what I saw, that would be neat. I don't know.
Okay, did one of the sisters want to answer that one?
I can answer it partially.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I think my words just disappeared right now. Okay, so first of all, we are given visions of things in the way that we can understand them. So, for instance, some people can see Metatron as a mountain. Other people see Metatron as, when it comes as a guide, the essence of Metatron comes as a guide. We all perceive him in different ways, in the way that we need to perceive him, in the way that is familiar to us, and also in a way that we can understand what we perceive. So this vision was given to you in such a way so that you could understand it, because it made sense for you in this specific way. And yeah. And also the answer is yes, because you have within you the knowledge of all that is, all that has ever been, and all that will ever be. you have all that is within you. You have it within your DNA, you have it within your energy field, you have it within the essence of your being, of all that you are. You hold all that is within you, and thus everything that you have ever learned about and everything that you have never heard of is within you. Yes, I give it over to whoever wants to.
Okay.
So
this.
Can I expand on this just briefly? Because I felt like there's a relationship between the idea of a seed containing all the information it takes to grow a tree or whatever it wants to grow, right? So in the human way, like, are we this, however they make us, like, it's all jam-packed in there, all the things, all the possible permutations of what could happen in a life that we could be exposed to. It's just already built into, we're the seed that made us, I guess, which would be our DNA, etc. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does make sense. Okay, this will be the last question. I've got a couple of things, Michelle. So 2 words. Totem pole. Ring any bells? Yeah. Do you know what that is?
I mean, I know what one is.
Yeah. Great.
Okay.
So
Yes.
what is traditionally a totem pole made out of?
Wood.
Which comes from our
Seed.
Thank you very much. Right. So with the totem pole, see you smiling now. Right. With the totem pole, you have like different animals that represent. What do they represent? Do you know?
Oh, wow. I haven't thought about a totem pole. I think they're different gods, or not gods probably, but like I don't know, animals, like spirit guides and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, beautiful. That's right. So each animal represents certain traits, certain levels of ability, certain levels of power,
Right.
and do you see the connection here? So
Sure.
what you're seeing in your totem pole that's made out of metal is you're seeing representations of power and frequency, and like Aura says, it's all that is you. So yeah, that's what you're seeing. It comes to us, like Aura says, in our own unique way, to help us understand it uniquely. That is to us, and for you, this is what that looks like.
Right.
So I think it is worth exploring more individually what they mean, because it is unique to you, and it's especially this has been given to you, like Aura says, and it's important that you go and explore a bit more about what each one of those individual representations of frequency, of power means to you. Ask. And that's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing that, back, when I can remember, being part of that tribe, totem poles were very powerful. There were symbols of power, of strength, of also just a reminder as well of, the beauty of it all, the beauty of these representations, because each one's unique. No two are the same. And it's unique not only in the fact of the entity itself and what that represents, but it's unique in the fact that how you interact with it and what your perception and your consciousness brings out of it too. And so that's unique in that way. And then obviously someone else's perception can be very different to yours. So I think it's worth exploring that. Totem pole is what I'm getting with that. So yeah, it's cool. I think maybe we should kind of end it here. And
all right.
And
2.5 hours.
Yeah.
I want to thank everyone for coming, and please don't forget about their Metatron energy activation for new Earth frequencies on January 22nd, 2022. And I put the information for the Three Sisters web pages, and their their Facebook pages. And Melanie, you will have the information on the webinar next month.
Yes.
So please join her page. It'll also be posted on the YouTube videos for those who did not get it here today. I want to thank you for joining us, and I want to thank the three sisters and Nilesh for this beautiful event today.
Thank you so much, Deb, for hosting it, and thank you, Rick, as well. It's been amazing. Thank you so much, guys.
We love you. And Rick and I will have one free healing event this month because it is the holiday month, Christmas, and it'll be next weekend. So for those that want to join us, we will see you next Saturday. I want to thank you again.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
Thank
Happy
you.
New Year.
Bye.
Ciao.
Holiday.